Hello, everybody,
I'm Heather,
and I'm Herbert.
and you are in the
The
Random
Random
Fandom
Fandom
Zone
Zone.
with
Well,
Spike the Cat.
hi, Spike. He's been in many movies.
Yeah, he has. He's been in two movies. In negotiations for a third. It's a little trilogy, so they're very interested to have him since he's already part of the first two.
Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see him in another um, TV movie show down the line and whatnot. So, mainly because we're science fiction folks, but also we kind of have content and every once in a while we watch something, we drop the needle on something, but also there's some things that are iconic. Like if you're a science fiction fan and you haven't watched Star Trek, any of them or all of them, I don't think you're a science fiction fan. And so, but there's certain series that I haven't seen. Have you seen what's that one? Stargate.
No, I haven't.
So that might be another one that we might could drop the needle on because there are apparently major fans of Stargate out there. That they love Stargate.
But all
Um,
this is to say, one that I have not seen, you've seen, I have not seen, was Babylon 5. And so I've started it, and I am working my way through Babylon 5.
so you're on season one still, right?
And it is not pretty. It is.
Uh,
It's a job, man. It is a job.
where are you at right now?
I think it's about episode 14.
Okay, so you're getting close to the end of the season.
Um, so and a lot of it feels to me like a lot of random parts are dropping, but they're not together. Like there was a whole episode where this guy around the ship just like talked to like the lead diplomat of every race and was just like, "What do you want?" And they would tell him some stupid thing, and then he would like just vanish. I'm like, what? What? What else has happened that I feel like is a part that's going to fit somewhere? The little telepath girl got like telekinetic abilities, but nobody knows it except but we know it, and she knows that she can move things with her mind. Um,
Has
yeah.
has Jakar told the vision to Londo?
So to what
Jakar
has he done? What?
told Londo one of his visions.
Oh, you know what? I, maybe what?
He
I don't
mentions
know. I
he
know
mentions,
this the episode where somebody comes to get the captain because he had that 24 hours of missing time where the Minbari were like about to win the war but then just went away, and he doesn't remember it. Nobody knows what the deal was, and he's they haven't shared with the audience, but he's maybe tried to have some little bits of visions of it, and he really wants to remember more of it. So and I think there's something in his visions involving the Minbari diplomat. Like he recognized her from a vision, and she found that very upsetting, or she's found it very disconcerting that any of this is going on. But again, we don't know any more than that. So I will say, yeah, I guess there's things that make you go, hmm. I don't know. Well, okay, it's not great acting. It's not, and beyond not great acting. I don't think their art direction helps them. You've got these ridiculous looking aliens that you really struggle to just take seriously as a serious character, and trying to fight through this really badly designed art direction. And it just,
so okay.
as
So
an actor, Spike disagrees. He says, yeah, no, it just doesn't work. No.
the Centauri, the Londo, is that the one you hate don't like the most on art direction? The
Well,
French vampires.
I love and hate. It's bad. It's so bad, but it's funny. They're like Muppets or something. Like it.
So apparently,
Honestly, I find the Narn art direction much uglier and much more aesthetically not pleasing. And even the Minbari, I don't. It's just not that good. Well, none of that art direction on the aliens. No, 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 no.
so the story is, and this when Londo went in, it was supposed to be this way, the hair, kind of,
Oh,
and he
like a
put it on.
mohawk kind of.
Yeah, he put it on this way because he didn't know. And he thought, okay. And he kind of looked at it and said, Well, that's definitely
I
uh,
like that better than this way. And then they have one alien race speak whatever that's there, and they just made their face like a fish with like big gills going down the side. I'm like, oh my, got any ideas? We need this new how we oh just a fish on there, a fish face. Just make their face a fish. Like
well, out of the big science fiction ones, it definitely had the lowest budget
and
of.
I respect that. Like I get it. You're fighting the budget, but a lot of good things happen on low budgets. Look at Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, and also the
And sometimes on a low budget, less is more.
the can do spirit of that we are here trying to make something happen, and you know,
And
uh,
I will tell you my most upsetting episode really upset me. It made me mad. One of those, well, I don't know if it's not quite so bad as like I wish I could just unsee it and unknow it, but just really it makes me mad. Is the episode where there's these some specific alien race, and they're not one of the normal ones, and they have this sick kid, but in their religion, if you pierce their skin, their soul escapes and their child will be soulless. So they just want the kid to die. Of course, the doctor wants to save the kid. Ultimately, the doctor breaks protocol, goes against everything, and defies orders and saves the kid, which again, well, anyway, defies everything, saves the kid. And then the parents are just like, oh, it's a shell, it's soulless. What have you done? It's a freak child. And they take the child and kill it. And I'm sorry, one, whether or not or what you think about whether a parent has to seek medical attention if someone is actually ill, it's still illegal to actually kill a child, like who isn't going, like I really think they should have furthered up that episode with prosecution on those parents. Like, that's not cool to kill a kid. Like, no.
so I wonder if that was in the 90s, because this was made in the 90s, whatever the political.
I don't know if it was in the 90s. I do know at some point in history that I don't know. It was I don't say I don't know if it
Well,
was
I mean,
Amish or some
yeah,
religion that refuses medical treatment.
yeah.
And the parents did refuse medical treatment, and I think the child died. But I think they in our not science fiction, in our real country, the United States, I do believe now it is a law that you have to seek treatment if your child is ill. That the child doesn't have the right to make that decision to refuse. And so anyway, again, now that's not to say you have to do preventative things, but you
The
can't, like if your child has like a super high fever or is obviously sick, you have to seek medical treatment. Again, that's my understanding. I don't know, maybe it's more specifics on that, I don't know, so don't come for me.
the
If you know
the
more about it, you know more about it, that's
the
fine.
the one thing about Babylon 5, and the writer basically said he had a 5-year arc. Kind of like how George Lucas said he had an arc for all the films. He did not. He barely had the plot for the first Star Wars
So you
film.
don't even get like a vague one, like a
Okay,
general
yeah,
one?
yeah. Han Solo was like some fish gizzard guy or something like that.
You don't think he knew in the first episode that Luke Vader was Luke's father?
No,
You don't think he even knew that? You
Darth
know,
Vader was just a baddie henchman in that. And he was just some guy that had this ancient religion power that they all just didn't even respect anymore or whatever. And but he was a master at it, so he basically had gravitas wherever he went. No, I don't think so at all. And a matter of fact, you know again, would Star Wars have been better if there's only one film? That's all we got.
I
uh,
like the whole first three. Because I mean, again, the first film is great. It's excellent. I'm not trying to diss it in any way, but I do like the next two kind of better.
I mean, the third one was the weakest.
Ah, see, I was young enough that I love the
I mean,
Ewoks.
the Ewoks, was definitely.
They were
I mean,
perfect. They were amazing.
and again, why didn't they just go like 4 feet higher to fly over the trees, you know, or 20 feet, whatever it is?
Well, maybe the speeders can't fly that high.
They can fly that high. They can fly. They got ships to fly over the world, that go into space. They can fly 40 feet in the air consistently. Um, but there's parts of Jedi I like, and there's definitely parts of Empire I like as well. But Star Wars, that's it. That is the film. And when the prequels come around, like anyway. So we'll need
Dude,
to.
this is about Babylon 5, dude. It's about Babylon 5.
But anyways, with Babylon 5,
Which we may do more as I watch through the show because I'm kind of watching it. So I may come back on with updates of
I'm
how
going to
it's
say this
going.
about Babylon 5. I think he had an outline, but again, because they're doing 26 episodes, not every episode was going toward that outline. They were doing a lot of filler to kind of get
No,
to
yeah, I see that.
So I don't know if a fan has gone through and actually picked every episode you have to watch to be able to get that arc. There is a 5-year arc. There is an arc for 5 years. There really is.
And again, I do get moments on it where I feel like, oh, this is probably going to be something that's significant.
Well, the plot is, let's see, this is Babylon 5. It's the 5th and last of the Babylon stations for international space, right? Intergalactic peace. So, and you also hear the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, right? They probably mentioned that a few times. So if you think of that word, the League of Non-Aligned Worlds, basically they're not even connected together at all, other than they get together and talk a little bit to try to resolve some things. But
again, the art direction is so bad; they seem like Muppets, and the writing that the Centauri guy and the Narn guy were having a conversation, and the Narn guy wanted to buy something from the Centauri. And they're sitting there chatting, and he says the price, and he's like, jumps up like, "That's just ridiculous!" I'm like, sorry, rational. If you want these characters to be more something that you would look at and not just think is silly, just like, I'm not going to pay that. Like, just a much more calm reaction, even if it's a negative reaction. Like, everything about them has to be just like big and overblown, and they're going to have the most extreme reaction to any kind of news. It's like,
well, you don't know.
Your shuttle is going to be delayed. Oh, what do you mean by you know who I am? She just said whatever. Like,
you don't know how passionate the Narn are about haggling for prices. I guess I don't. And again, I haven't watched it in a long time. I try to watch it, and then really until it was reran on TNT, and I think they ran it at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Whenever I got home from work, I could catch it and watch it. So basically, I started the whole syndication cycle again to get on there, and I got to a point because at that point, there was no streaming service or anything like that. If I missed the episode, so I just made sure I didn't miss the episode. So kind of like we were talking about the other episode that was Star Trek Next Generation, you had to be there for that. At least I got to see it in the syndication where it was one after another. I had to wait, week after week to week to get there. And matter of fact, I was catching up on it. Was I catching up on it when they were still filming it? They were making movies at that point. And so after you get done with the 5 years of Babylon 5, there's 2 or 3 movies you got to watch. So there's more, and I won't spill it, but there's one of the movies they explain something that's right in front of your face and you probably haven't noticed. So
why their hair goes floopy?
Not going to say what it is, but it explains.
But I don't know if they mean it to. But the Centauri remind me of like, and maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe like a whole alien race of like, what's the word? Of exiled royalty. Like there's some kind of just nobility species that, and they do talk about like, I think some political unrest and revolution on the home world. And maybe it's just because their costumes and he has ridiculous jewelry and all, but they just remind me of like that they were much more kind of royalty class oriented, and they've had some kind of revolution and they're exiled. Now again, that's my impression.
They mentioned when he talked to the security guy, and Lando talked to the security guy, he was saying, the first time we met you, the Centauri, you told us that, you planted, you were our descendants until we got a hold of your DNA, and they were selling the weapons and things like that. So anyway.
So the Centauri told the humans
Yeah,
That
I
the
think it's
humans were
I think it's in
descended
one
from
of
the
the first.
Centauri.
I think it's in one of the first episodes over there.
No, it
Maybe
probably is. I just not a detail I recall.
again, there's a lot of little things like that. So when you go watch it multiple times, you kind of pick up on.
No, no, no. I don't think this will be a multiple time
Oh,
experience.
you don't know. You don't know how Babylon 5 is going to change your life.
Yeah.
You
I
not
think I feel like
know.
I do. I feel like I do.
I don't think you do. I don't think you know how much Babylon 5 is going to change your life. And uh, if you probably don't remember this, but Jesse's friends of Breaking Bad, Mike was bugging their house. He said he spent 3 hours talking about something called Babylon 5. They're arguing the points of Babylon. So I thought that was funny because that is Star Trek's one thing that people kind of know about. Babylon 5 is one of those things that you got to be there.
There was something on Big Bang. I forget which characters liked Babylon 5 and which characters did not like Babylon 5, but it was a thing.
Yeah,
Sheldon said something. I don't remember if Sheldon didn't like Babylon 5. Anyway.
well there is even today, and again, when you get back, you get further away. Supposedly, one reason why we're able to watch it now is they're going to do a reboot of Babylon 5 on the CW. So, and you get, and again, me knowing the big arc, if it was done today with excellent writing, with excellent acting, could this be kind of like how Battlestar Galactica was kind of this campus show in the 70s, and we got that in the 2000s, what we got there, and which was groundbreaking. And they're even talking about doing a reboot of that as well, which would be interesting too to see what they could do with that. So we'll just see what's going on. I will say this: season 2 takes it to another level. And much like the Next Generation, the first season was kind of like trying to find your water, trying
The
to
next
find.
generation almost feels like a different show, really. Like the art direction is just different. It just almost feels like a different thing than when they
Let's be honest, Picard was good, but he was checked out. He wasn't. He was. I mean,
was
he was
phoning it in.
he was he was doing his job as an actor. But what is this garbage lines am I saying, and these alien people walking around and like carpet or whatever,
No
and
one even says he was like not relaxed about it. Like the rest of the cast was like, "Oh, come on, have a laugh," and he was like, "Rah."
no, because he was cross with them, right? If they were joking around or whatever, and it was like, they were thinking, I can understand you're on set 18 hours a day dressed as a Klingon. At some point, you're gonna go batty. You gotta laugh. You gotta have that out. You're not being professional. Make sure you know your lines and whatever. And at some point he realized okay, and was able to amass it to an amazing career in other things as well. Not Picard, not Picard, but that would have been a really good, and we'll talk about that if you ever get a chance to watch it. Um,
Look, I'm doing Babylon 5 now. Come on, I can only handle so much bad science fiction at a time.
Babylon 5 is tremendously better than Picard.
Oh,
Picard is so bad. You vaguely resemble anybody in it. So the third season of Picard, and you already know this, is the bridge crew finally comes back, where they should have been there in the first place. That's one of the big problems with Picard, anyways. I'm having a little bit of hopes, but they filmed it at the same time as season 2, and it was horrible. So even with Michael Dorn, I'm not
big
sure.
savior of of Star Trek.
DS9, Star Trek, all the movies they got him to show up, but I'm sure if they can, they'll find a way to mess it up. Is even not the right word. It's
Yeah.
it's not even the right word to say they messed this up. It's something completely. I don't even know what you say. It's just it's like looking at something that you love through a mirror with Vaseline, and in another dimension from the X-Files. Whatever the worst episode of the X-Files baddie is.
The worst episode of the X-Files. We should do a we should do a whole thing of like worst episodes of
Yeah,
different things.
yeah. So
Although I think we know Star Trek: The Next Generation.
there's a couple in there.
We'll talk about it later, obviously.
Shaka.
Shaka City.
I'm from Shaka City. Where are you from? Anyways, it's just like brilliant writing, brilliant
It
writing.
was so bad.
So hang in there for Babylon 5. I think even now you're getting to a point where they kind of know the characters a little bit more and kind of know what their arc is. Um, but season 2, you're going to like, okay, yes. And in some ways, you could have started with season 2, but it's better to earn it.
And that's another thing, because like the Vorlon are supposed to be so like indestructible and you can't kill a Vorlon. I'm like, he lives in a suit. All you got to do is get him out of the suit and he's gonna die. Like, he's not that tough.
How are you going to get him out of that suit? Anyways, it's not as easy as you think.
And that suit is ridiculous. If I wanted to make a character, it's like big shoulder pads and a shower curtain. Like, it's, and then a football helmet.
All I can say is this: you're not the only one who's been touched by a Vorlon.
I've never been touched by a Vorlon.
Anyways, so
but there's a weird guy asking him, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
And I'm like, "What's?" It was just, yeah. Anyway, whatever.
Well, sometimes you got to earn a science fiction series, and Babylon 5.
Even if that's going somewhere, that's still not good.
Maybe they had on Breaking Bad. Maybe they had a good scene having Jesse's friends that use drugs, debating Babylon 5, because if you're in an altered state, maybe like, oh yeah,
yeah, I don't do that kind of thing, but yeah, maybe. I mean, not that I judge. I'm just I personally don't partake, but it would be really cool. Maybe Babylon 5 would have a whole new meaning if you were really toked up. Like, oh, I understand now.
If you were in some type of altered state going on there, so yeah. So, anyways, well. We'll look forward to seeing you get through your first season of Babylon 5, and hopefully you'll
report back.
Hopefully you at least give the second season a couple episodes to see. Oh, okay. I will say this: Londo and the Narn, Jakar. I think the doctor and the security guy, Ivanova. Is there any character you like at all right now?
The first officer, but I mean, again, I want to like her, but she doesn't do enough. I kind of want to like the Minbari girl, but
they all get more.
Again, she's ridiculous looking.
You get more, and they get more in the future. Ivanova is one of my favorites. The security guy is one of my favorites. Garibaldi, right?
They all seem so much like stereotypes of parts,
but
they don't seem like real individuals. They just seem like every trope of an alcoholic security guy is me.
Londo and Jakar are some of my favorite science fiction banter going on. So it's going to go to a place. So keep hanging there with the Babylon 5, and anybody out there that needs a TV series to watch, it's on HBO Max. And again, I think one reason why they put it out there is because they're getting ready for the reboot of it. And so that
you'll have to earn it, dude.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes you got to earn something, you know. Sometimes if watching science fiction is not easy, you know? It's not easy. It's not all Star Trek, you know.
It's not for the faint of heart. It is not. It's not all Star Trek. It's not all Star Trek.
Just like
it's not. Some of it's Picard.
What is it? There's the Andromeda. The Andromeda I never did watch. Stargate.
Caprica. I did. I mean, I watched episodes, but I pegged out on that.
I tried a part of an episode and just
no, I got through several episodes, but finally I was like, this isn't even good. I'm not even enjoying this.
It's not good at all. And in my mind I said, how did this happen? What? I was watching thinking, well, how is this so bad? Because like the concept of that, you could have made it where it worked. It'd be interesting, but it wasn't.
No, the concept was. I liked Battlestar Galactica. I thought that concept was really fascinating.
what it
I was
did,
wrong.
what they did with the Orville and the Kalon, how they were,
Mm,
servants, and then they turned against, the owners and whatnot. That was way more interesting than Caprica.
1,000 times. Yeah.
So, anyways, so it just wasn't done well, and everybody knows it. What was another one they had on there? The Andromeda one. Oh, Farscape. That's another one I never watched. So all these are ones that I probably at least need to try part of a season to see. I would guess out of the three that just because it was on so long, that's Stargate is probably the better one. So, well, anything else you want to say about anything?
I will report back as I continue my voyage through Babylon 5.
Well, thank you all so much for listening to the Random Fandom Zone podcast. If you like this type of amazing content, share this with your friends, subscribe, tell everybody about that. And if any of the former actors of Babylon 5 would like to be on the Random Fandom Zone, please let us know. I would love to have you.